The next 4 videos, I'm going to take you through the different ways of multiplying polynomials. So we'll take this one step at a time, and first we'll start with multiplying a monomial times a polynomial. So just as a reminder before we start multiplying, that when we do multiply values, we're going to multiply the coefficients and add the exponents. So multiply the 4 times 2 to get 8. Add the 2 and the 4 as exponents to get 6. And again here, multiply 3 times 9 to get 27. And add the exponents on my x's to get 3. And the exponents on my y's to get 5. This will come into play as we multiply. So when I multiply a monomial times a polynomial, it simply means I have one term on the outside that I'm distributing to the terms on the inside. So 3 times c is 3c, and 3 times minus 4 is minus 12. Multiply numbers. I didn't have to add exponents on this one. For my second example, my monomial happens to have an x to the third, so when I distribute, again, I'm going to multiply the coefficients to get 2, add the exponents to get x to the 5th, and then again distribute. I get a minus 2x to the 4th because this has an exponent of 1 and 3 plus 1 is 4. And then 2 times 2 is 4. And this, I don't have to add exponents, but I have to keep the 3x to the third that I have. So 2x to the 5th minus 2x to the 4th plus 4x to the third. Here's another. Again, just good practice. Multiply numbers. So 10, add exponents. 3 plus 2 gives me y to the 5th. 5 times minus 7 is minus 35. Add exponents to get y to the 4th. And 5 times 6 is 30. And didn't have to add exponents to get y to the 3rd. For my second example, I have a monomial times a binomial, so 2 terms. Again, lots of variables, and I even threw in a fraction, but it's really the same concept. I'm distributing. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. I have 3 plus 1 a's, so that's a to the 4th, b to the 9th, and c to the 5th. That's my first term. And then I'm going to distribute. Negative 4 times a negative 1/2. So first of all, a negative times a negative means my value will be positive, so I'm going to write a plus. And when I multiply by fractions, I take the 4 times the 1 to get 4, divided by 2 to get 2. So 4 divided by 2, which is 2. So don't freak out with fractions. Multiply by the numerator, divide by the denominator. And then 3 plus 5 is a to the 8th. 7 plus 1 is b to the 8th, and c to the 1st power. Go ahead and try these 2 on your own, then press play to see how you did. For my first example, I'm multiplying by a negative 6b squared. So my first term is negative 12b to the 4th. I have a negative 6 times a negative 3, which is a negative 18. Typically, I would write that as a minus 18 instead of plus negative, but as we all know, it's the same thing. I have b to the 3rd, so 2 plus 1 is 3. And then a negative times a negative gives me a positive 48. B to the 2nd. And my second example, 8 times a half, remember 8 times 1 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. And then I have 3 s's and 3 t's. And 8 times negative 1/4 is 8 times negative 1, or negative 8, divided by 4 is negative 2. And then I have 2 s's and 4 t's.